Good afternoon, everyone out there on the interwebs. Welcome to another edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E, courtesy of the BS3 Network. You can watch us on Roku on the BS3 Network. Yes, if you are new to the show, if you're new to the lunch break, this is the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the lunch break on Thursdays, streaming to you, coming to you live from, as my auntie used to say, Fifth Ward, Texas. I am, of course, KG Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Watch us on YouTube, Twitch, X, Fire TV, and Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. If you have a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. If not, just go to bs3network.com. Let's get into it. I am wearing one of my Houston Roundball Review shirts, the Sunshine Yellow. Some folks say it's like Golden State Warriors colors, but I'm not a Rockets fan. No worries there. You can buy Roundball Review merch like a shirt, hoodies even. Roundball Review mug too. Go to that link, linktree/Houston Roundball Review, and cop the merch there. A lot of different ways to support the Houston Roundball Review. Miss Wanda, how are you? Thank you very much. She references, good afternoon, welcome back home. For those who do not know, have been following me on one of the social media platforms on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I was in Kansas City on Tuesday and Wednesday for the Big 12 basketball tip-off for men's and women's basketball. Yesterday was the fellas. They wrapped it up. Good chance to talk to some people face-to-face, made some contacts. Should have some interviews, one or two interviews lined up in the next few days with some folks who y'all might recognize and some folks you may not recognize. But it's always good to be able to be there in person at media days. Zooms can only provide so much. Being there in person gives that personal touch. Miss Donna Holman, how are you? Thank you for watching on YouTube as well. Let's have some fun. Let's discuss it. Coogs Longhorns this Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock at TDECU Stadium. I just checked before beginning this show. The Longhorns are favored by 23 and a half. 23 and a half. Who's going to make that bet? Who's picking the Horns to cover? Or who's going to take the Cougs and the points? Chime in on today's show. Let me know what you think. I don't bet like that anymore, but if I had some money to bet, I got to say I would pick the Horns. Ooh, I hate to do that. Oh, my gosh. But I think Texas is going to run over the Cougars on Saturday afternoon. I hope I am wrong, but final score prediction, I'd say right now, Longhorns 45-17, something like that, right around there. But we'll see. I hope head coach Dana Holgorsen goes into his bag of tricks, leaves no stone unturned, trick plays, going forward when it makes sense, out within your own 20-yard line. Just be aggressive. Let the Longhorns know that they were in for a battle, not just the Cougars showing up in the first quarter and the game's over at the end of the first quarter. None of that. It's sold-out crowd. Hopefully I hope, majority of Cougar Red at the stadium. I hope. I have some doubts. I know a couple of friends have already profited on their season tickets and put them up for sale and made a nice profit. Hey, it's America, capitalism at its best. Saturday, in a contrast, the tickets are going for this game as low as $79. Contrast that to last Thursday's Cougs West Virginia game. They went for as low as $1 around kickoff. $1, not $2, $1. But hey, Cougs, Longhorns, Miss Wanda, I think you were glad to be wrong last Thursday. But what did you do? Did you pick the Cougs to beat West Virginia, or you had West Virginia as a win for the Mountaineers? Miss Donna, I know you support TSU. Tigers, let's see. Let's get into the schedule preview because we got a local football team on the college scene playing tonight. Let's talk about that. The Rice Owls. ESPN2 for the Rice Owls. Yes, not Facebook. Facebook Watch or whatever Conference USA used to have when the Owls were a member last season. Rice 3-3, 1-1 in the American at Tulsa, also same record. 6:30 p.m. kickoff on the Deuce. The Owls trying to bounce back from their loss at home to previously winless Connecticut. 38-31, Rice lost that game. They were off last week. Get a chance to get back on the good foot on the road against Tulsa and the Golden Hurricane. Tomorrow, Friday the 20th, SMU 4-2, their last few football games as a member of the American Athletic Conference. Mustangs 4-2, 2-0 in the American. On the road in Philly, the Temple Owls 2-5 overall, but 0-3 in conference play. 6 p.m. kickoff on ESPN2. Then rest of the games on Saturday for the teams in the American. Schedule: Air Force from the Mountain West, undefeated. Top 25 ranked at Navy. Navy, the midshipmen, 3-3 overall, 2-2 in American. 11 a.m. on CBS, the big boy CBS. Memphis, 4-2 overall, 1-1 in conference at UAB. 2-5, 1-2 in conference. Also 11 a.m. Central. Game on ESPN2. Charlotte, boy, this game right here is for true diehard fans and alums of both programs. Charlotte at East Carolina. Should be some rivalry, trash talk, smacking back and forth. But both teams are 1-5 overall and 0-2 in conference play. Somebody got to get a win in conference play. Somebody's going to go to 2-5 after Saturday. That game is at 1 p.m. on ESPN+. North Texas, 3-3, 1-1 in conference at, I believe, the best team in the American. Tulane's also ranked in the top 25. 5-1. A lot of green is going to be in this game. North Texas, mean green at the Green Wave. Tulane 5-1 overall, 2-0 in the American. 2:30 p.m. on the Deuce. South Florida, 3-4 overall, 2-2 in conference at Connecticut. 1-5 overall as independent. That game is on CBS Sports Network. Mr. Tran, give me a prediction on Longhorns. Longhorns Coogs, what you got? Will the Longhorns cover that 23.5? Last but not least, should be a good one. As long as Frank Harris is quarterback of UTSA, this should be a good one. UTSA at Florida Atlantic. Identical records, 3-3 overall, 2-0 in conference play, 5 o'clock Central on ESPN+, the AAC's digital platform on ESPN+. Going to leap forward. SWAC play. Going to get back to the Big 12 in a moment. SWAC play. Oh, Mr. Tran. Miss Wanda, you see this? You see this prediction right here? Cougs 35-32 over the Longhorns. Oh, you and Andy Yanez will talk a lot of noise if that happens. That'd be so much trash talk right there. Well, I have no problem with this right here, and I won't get a penalty for it. Horns down. No worries whatsoever on that one. But real quick, 4 teams got a bye week in the SWAC this weekend. Got 4 games. Alcorn State at Pine Bluff. Pine Bluff, bless their hearts. Alcorn State 3-3 overall, 2-1 the SWAC, 2 p.m. on HBCU Go. Pine Bluff 1-5 overall, 0-3 in SWAC. Jackson State 4-3 overall, 2-2 in conference play. At Valley 1-5, 1-2. I think Valley beat Pine Bluff last week. Valley's 1-5 overall, 1-2 in the SWAC, 2 p.m. Central on ESPN+. Southern 3-3 overall, 2-1 the SWAC at Bethune-Cookman, 1-5. Bethune-Cookman lost to Texas Southern last week in a close one. 1-5 overall, 1-2 in SWAC, 3 p.m. on Cat iRadio. That's BC's radio network. And then, Miss Donna, you going to be at this game? Florida A&M, best team in the SWAC. Florida A&M 5-1 overall, 4-0 in the SWAC at Texas Southern. TSU 2-4 overall, 1-2 in the SWAC. 2 o'clock on ESPN Plus, and going to be on campus. Don said TSU, is TSU going to shock the world? Miss Donna, you going to pick the Tigers to beat the best team in the SWAC? What you say about that one? But see, Miss Wander says it right here. I am scared to even think what the score could be about the Longhorns Cougars game. Oh, Miss Donna. Miss Donna. Trent says, sorry for you. He's picking Florida A&M 42-14 over TSU. Who is the SWAC dark horse? Man, that's a good question. Because clearly, I think FAMU is head and shoulders above everybody else in the SWAC. Some folks prior to last week probably would have said Grambling, but then Grambling lost homecoming. And Hugh Jackson, boy, that seat gonna be real warm for you. And you got a bye week. That seat is real hot. Lose a homecoming, dedication, field dedication, all those things, and lost at home and got stomped in the fourth quarter. But so I don't know, DPG. Who do you think is the dark horse? I'd have to ask my SWAC people, Dr. Cavill and Charles Bishop and Mike Washington, who they think the SWAC dark horse would be. Oh, let me see. Based on records, heck, I might say Alcorn State. Yeah, I might probably say I'll say Alcorn State. All right, let's get back to it. We're going to talk some Big 12 hoops momentarily, media day. But the football schedule, every game Big 12 is this Saturday. Baylor. This first one, Baylor 1-2 in the Big 12 at Cincinnati, 0-3 in the Big 12. Will the Bearcats get their first win, their first Big 12 win? Second to the Coogs of the 4 newcomers, winning, well, really 3 schools. But will the Bearcats turn up the heat even hotter on Baylor head coach Dave Aranda and get their first win at home, their first Big 12 win this Saturday, 11 a.m. on Big 12 now on ESPN Plus? Tran says no. With a vengeance, no. Baylor 35-14, no. Ms. Donna says TSU is their team. I know anything is possible. Hey, TSU has a chance against FAMU. Hey, anything's possible. No worries there. Yeah. This next one, UCF, 3-3 overall, winless in Big 12 play against undefeated Oklahoma on ABC. On ABC. I think it's going to be like this right here. I thought it's going to be close. Sooners big. I'm going with Tran on that one. It's going. I don't know about that one. Going to be big. Woo. And Oklahoma State next. 4-2 overall, 2-2 in conference play at the Mountaineers. Kind of curious to see what Mountaineers team going to show up. The one that was 2-0, or the team that lost to the Cougs and the defense secondary got lit up by Donovan Smith and the Cougar receivers. That game, 2:30 p.m. on Saturday at ESPN. And there we go. Let's talk about it. Jan says Coach Gundy's squad going to walk out of WVU with a W by 14 points. But all right. DPG says Aranda is cooked. Yeah, you're probably right. Most folks, yeah, as far as I know, as far as I've heard, most folks think he's gone. So, yeah, there it is. Longhorns 5-1 overall, 2-1 in conference. That one loss was to the Sooners. At the Cougs, 3-3 overall, 1-2 in Big 12, 3 p.m. on Fox. Somebody else, give me a prediction. DPG, what say you about that one? Tran, one more time, for those who missed it, Tran's going 35-32 over the Cougs. So not only is he taking the Cougs in the points, he's taking the Cougs outright to beat the Horns. No. That would make my day if it happens, but I'd be stunned. But would be glad to be wrong and love to admit it on the Let's Rage Cougs post-game show Saturday evening to discuss a Cougs upset. I'll be thrilled to death to talk about that. That happens, though. Next on the schedule, Texas Tech 3-4 overall, 3-2 in the Big 12 at BYU. BYU 4-2 overall, 1-2 in conference play. 6 p.m. on FS1. And then rounding it out, TCU 4-3 overall, 2-2 in conference at K-State. K-State 4-2, 2-1 in conference. 6 p.m. on ESPN. DPD, he like, I would love to see a Coug win, but us losing about 30. Tran, I truly admire your optimism. He's truly admire your optimism. But you're wearing your Cougar color glasses making that prediction. I just don't see it. You and Andy might be the only ones. You, Andy, and of course, more importantly, the players and the staff. Outside of y'all, not many other people believe the Cougs have anything more than a chance this Saturday versus the Longhorns. But hey, I hope you're right. I hope the Cougs prove all of us wrong. And I'm not being a hater on it. I just don't believe the Cougs will win Saturday. If it's competitive and if they stay within the spread, I'll count that as a more victory. Really, if they lose by 10, 14, 20 even, I think that'd be good. But I just don't see it. Just don't see it. Just don't. Ooh, what? Oh, okay. He thinks Donovan Smith is the best QB in the Big 12. Well, he beat the Longhorns last year when he played for Texas Tech. And he's rolling. He completed 16 for 16 in the second half in the win over West Virginia. If Dana trusts him and allows Donovan to be Donovan, it helps. But one thing first, just be aggressive, be active from the opening kickoff. And I'm kind of curious to see how the Longhorns handle the Cougs return team. That's really one of the strengths of this year's team has been Matthew Golden in kickoffs, heck, even the punt return team. How will the Horns handle that? Will they kick out of bounds away from them? Pooch kicks, angle kicks, how will they handle that? Agree here. The Cougs must have tempo, definitely. Got to speed it up. I'm really curious to see how Dana calls the game this Saturday. 3 p.m., sold out crowd. Game's going to be on TV locally, on Fox, of course, as well. I think the weather's going to cooperate. I wish the Cougs luck, and I hope to be wrong. And I'd be first. I would gladly do a YouTube short, post it on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and say, hey, I was wrong, and proud of it, and say, go Cougs and horns down, all the same clip. I hope to do that. Tony, if that happens, if the Cougs win Saturday, Tony, you know what that means, right? It just really, truly cements the return of Dana next season. You know that, right? You know that. If that happens, well, we'll see. All right. I'm going to play this clip. I'm bouncing around. I'm going to post the results of the coaches poll for the Big 12 men's basketball that was released Friday rather than Thursday last week, like I had hoped in time for last Thursday's show. But Coach Kelvin Sampson had a few comments yesterday. Well, he had more than a few. But the clip I'm going to play, Coach Sampson described the level of maturity level of last year's team to the previous team, the previous Cougs team. It's in vertical format because I'm on Instagram and TikTok. But listen to what Coach said. And of course, the clip is on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, at Houston Roundball Review, all those places. But listen to this. It's about 70, 75 seconds. And get me your thoughts on what he says. Let's see here. All right.
Last year, team, probably the youngest we've been, maybe the most immature we've been to. Last year's team was more talented than it was mature. Whereas the year before, we were more mature than we were talented. one team won 32 and lost to Villanova in the Elite Eight. The other team won 33 and lost to Miami right here on this court. But the year before, his team was better. That team would have beat last year's team because they're more mature. Kyler Edwards and Tajay Moore and Fabian White and Josh Carlton. That was a mature team. Last year's team, our first guard off the bench was a true freshman. Terrence Arsenault was a true freshman. Jarris Walker was a freshman. That was the youngest we've been. And that team was probably not quite as good as people on the outside looking in I thought it was. That's the first team, it's probably one of the few teams I've had at Houston that we didn't get better once we got to March. A lot of it has to do with, and this goes for all college athletics, kids have to adjust today. The money that these kids are making, they've never made that before. Life gets in the way sometimes. They're having to think about things and do things that kids before them never had to worry about.
So what do you think? Last year, and fans who follow the team last season would agree with the comments Coach made toward the end. Last season team did not get better in March. We saw kind of cracks in the armor. Competitive, rebounding, defense. The team just wasn't as crisp, wasn't as sharp, wasn't as focused for whatever reason. Could it have been because some players were focused on leaving? Player was focused on going to the pros. I don't know. Injuries clearly played a part. Marcus being injured, Jamal being injured. And, that's the starting backcourt. But you saw it in games. Heck, Miami game. Miami was the more physical team than Houston. The game in the tournament, AAC tournament, East Carolina was competing, rebounding, was physical with the Cougars. That wasn't a typical Cougar team in March. We'll see how this year's team is. Tran, to your question up here, if you haven't seen it, I posted it this morning. I had a chat with LJ, Jamal, and Jawan yesterday at Media Day. And LJ, one of the things he said, he's been working on his defense every day in practice. The coaches are holding him accountable for practice. He said the coaches leave him on the court longer if he's not getting stops. And LJ said he's good with it. He's getting better on defense. He likes being held accountable defensively. That's a plus. That could be a positive for Houston. He's playing more that way, more now because Malik Wilson is out with an injured left hand. As he injured that, I think, on October 2nd, and is roughly a 4 to 6 week time frame for recovery. And then Wednesday, Coach Sampson mentioned that Damian Dunn has missed the last few days of practice because of an ankle injury that he tweaked his ankle in practice. So other players are getting a chance to get more minutes. This comment is fair. The lack of NIL regulation is ruining. A lot of folks agree with that. The way it's handled. NIL is one thing. Name, image, and likeness. Paying players for the name, image, and likeness is one thing. Paying players to go to a school is something else. That's not the same thing. Just your thoughts on that, what Coach said. More comments from him are, I asked him a question about the Rockets-Pacers game that involved Jarris Walker and Nate Hinton, and Coach commented on their journeys. And one of the things he said in that one, that Jarris's dad chose Houston because of Coach Sampson. Quote, Coach Sampson said, Jarris's father said, "We're not looking to choose a college. We're choosing a coach." Jairus' dad wanted a coach and a staff to help Jairus get better. Well, Coach Sampson said, in fact, let me see if I can pull up the clip. It's a few minutes long. It's longer than usual stuff, but you get the idea. Y'all know how Coach Sampson is. He can talk. he can take a 5-word question and turn it into a 20-minute answer. But he's a heck of a coach, hell of a coach. Let me see if I can put it up. Let's see here. We had Rockets Pacers game in Houston. Jairus and Nate in town. What was your sense of pride for those two guys from your program that you coached?
Yeah, when Jairus came to when we signed Jairus, that was a unique recruiting scenario with Jairus. They're all unique to themselves, but we didn't help Jairus become a first-round draft pick. He would have been a first-round draft pick if he had went to the Oklahoma Wildlife Society. If they had a basketball team, somebody would have drafted him in the first round. I mean, my God, look at him. But what we did was help him become a lottery pick. And it all started with his attitude, his willingness to surrender and be coached. But that was his father's plan. His father said from day one, we're not choosing a college, we're going to choose a coach. So his dad was a little bit ahead of the curve. He never mentioned NIL, never mentioned none of that stuff. He said, everybody tells me how good my son is. I have not seen it. I want to see it. And so he narrowed it down to 2 coaches, called us and said, you're the one I think can get my son to where he needs to be. And so I thought about his dad's conversation the other night when I watched him. And then Nate's father is Dr. Benjamin Hinton. He has a PhD in religious studies. He's the lead pastor at the largest church in the state of North Carolina. He has 2,000 members in his church. Gastonia. Because I went to the church twice. I went to church twice to recruit Nate. That's what I thought of. Their journeys. Success is a process. It's such a process. Everybody wants to focus on the NBA, but everybody doesn't want to go through the conditioning and the butt chewings and the stitches and the disappointments along the way. So when whether it's Grimes in New York or Sasser in Detroit, Armani Brooks with the Brooklyn Nets, he's signed a guaranteed contract. We got, I think, 5 guys this year in the NBA. That's why we win. We got good players. You want to know the secret why we're winning? Those guys. We got good players.
So what are your thoughts on what Coach said there about defense? I'm all for it. Y'all know I'm defense first all day, every day. Love it. Defense is an important thing. Defense includes rebounding, closing out that possession with the missed shot, and it's going the other way. DPG, I saw your comment here. I'm going to address it right here. Your question. Derek Queen, he is not Jairus in the sense he is not the athlete that Jairus is. He's not the physical specimen that Jairus is. Jairus just look like, the muscles and all of that. That's not Derek. Okay. Derek has a low post game, also has a perimeter game. In terms of who's in the lead, it's probably down to 3 schools. Maryland's probably the favorite. Then Indiana, Houston. Houston has connections because Derek and Jairus had, I think, the same coach, AAU coach. Derek's from Maryland, the Maryland area. NIL may play a part. Folks may want to keep him in Maryland. Maryland folks keep the local product home. He's at Montverde Academy in Florida for this season. but he's from the Maryland area. Quote unquote, I think it's 24/7 Sports, 247 Sports has Maryland the favorite to land him. That's probably what's going to happen. Depending on which way Derek and his family want to go. And I say it like this. I don't know Derek's family, Derek's people. But Jairus' dad, if Derek's people are like Jairus' dad, we want to go to a program that's going to help my son get better. Well, Coug fans say, oh, that's a no-brainer, given your choices. Pick Houston all day, every day. But I don't know if that's how they're thinking. The pressure to stay home might be more for Derek. He's got to make the best choice for himself. And really what it comes down to is for himself, not what other folks are telling him, not outside influence, all those things. He's got to look out for number one, and that's himself. And I tell that to all the kids, all the high school kids when you're being recruited. Do what's best for you. First, last, every day. In terms of who? Alan, you talking about women's hoops? Men's hoops? Nick Cody's from the Dallas area. And as far as I know, I think, how should I phrase this? Because anything's possible. It seems quite probable Nick Cody would choose the Cougs, will commit to the Cougs. The Cougs are the favorite, for what that's worth. I don't have these strong vibe, excuse me, that I had regarding Trace McCarty. I knew Trace McCarty was coming to Houston. I had a strong sense on that one. That's why I said it during the edition of Folks Talking Sports back in September. Just very confident. When I read somewhere like his recruitment was up in the air and they weren't sure where he's going to go. No, I was very sure he's going to go. Very strong sense on that one. I think Nick Cody, not as strong, but it's strong. He's going to choose the Cougs. Let's see. So yes, the Dallas area, look at the recruiting. Chase McCarty is from Alabama. Nick Cody is from North Texas. Houston still recruits Houston area, obviously. Look at JoJo Tugler, who I think is going to have a very good freshman season and probably needs to have a very good freshman season for the Cougs to go as far as they hope to go this season. The 4 or 5 spot is the biggest question mark because outside of Juwan Roberts, it's the least experienced. Backcourt, not going to be a problem. Shouldn't be a problem as long as they can stay healthy and get healthy. Malik Wilson, solid backup point guard. LJ Cryer is playing the one right now with Malik out. So that's also a plus, giving LJ more time as a backup one in practice. So that's good. But let's go with the poll results. I don't have a slide for it. For Coach Bill Self's comments that he said yesterday about Houston. But it's been on Twitter. I posted it on Threads and Instagram as well as X and also on Facebook. But there is a poll results, coach's poll. Kansas first, 12 first place votes. Houston second, which I think is just another indication of two things. The program that Kelvin Sampson and the staff have established at Houston, and also the respect that the coaches have for Kelvin Sampson. Baylor coach Scott Drew and Oak State coach Mike Boynton spoke very highly of Kelvin Sampson, and I'm going to post their comments later on today. Longhorns 3rd, Baylor 4, TCU 5. DPG says TCU's overrated. Tech is underrated. We'll see Texas Tech new head coach, part of the Scott Drew tree. But let me ask you, DPG, Tran, Miss Wanda, folks watching on all the platforms. I think Cincinnati's underrated. K-State at 6, Iowa State at 7. Where does the talent drop off? I mean, seriously. West Virginia, interim head coach. They got talent, though. Oak State, Mike Boynton got talent, kind of young, a lot more freshmen than other teams in the league. Wes Miller at Cincinnati. Oklahoma at 12. BYU 13. UCF 14. But yeah, where does the talent drop off? 14 teams in this season for the Big 12, 16 next year. Last season, every conference game, every Big 12 conference game in men's hoops was either a quad 1 or quad 2 game. Every Big 12 men's basketball game was a quad 1 or Q2 win. So that's top 75 in the net. Everybody. Not going to be the same this year. Most likely. I think the last I saw, though, based on last season's numbers, UCF was the highest ranked, worst ranked, and they were like 81 last season. Just think about that. That's 14 teams. I mean, think about that. But to Big 12 Commissioner Yormark's credit, and everyone in Big 12, the coaches as well, every coach Wednesday at the Big 12 men's basketball tip-off said, it's part of the talking points, the Big 12 is the best conference in college basketball. Said it numerous times. Not the Big East. Big East is strong at the top. Top 3, 4, strong. UConn, obviously, the reigning champs. Marquette, Creighton. Nova probably should be better this year. But the depth of the Big 12, it ain't the Big East. It ain't the Big 10. It ain't the SEC. It's the Big 12. Men's hoops, not the same case in women's hoops on the Big 12, but that's another discussion. Shifting gears just for a moment, 14 teams in the Big 12 this season, 16 teams starting next season. Longhorns, Sooners out. Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, Utah in. Excuse me. Get some water out of my Roundball review mug. Starting next season, on the men's side of the Big 12, 20 conference games in men's basketball for the Big 12. 20. You'll have 5 teams you face twice, and the other 10 teams you'll play once. So you have home and away with 5 teams, and then the other 10 teams will either be home or away. And that'll be the 20 conference games in the Big 12. To that end, the earlier talk this spring, summer about having the Big 12 have some non-conference, non-conference matchups between Big 12 teams at neutral sites will not happen. So the 20 conference games You got more games against quality opponents, more Q1, Q2 games, schedule non-conference accordingly. Trent says not in favor of 20. Would rather have Big 12 more games with SEC. Well, the challenge ended. The Big 12 SEC challenge ended. And this season, coming up, this 23-24 season, the games in December, the first part of December, the Big 12 Big East challenge ended, will end. And the rationale, the logic behind that goes back to what I said a few minutes ago. Beyond the top 3 or 4 teams in the Big East, the rest of the Big East is not Q1, Q2 quality. So why would Big 12 coaches want to face those teams? They could schedule Q1, Q2 teams on their own rather than face a Big East team. It helps. Long story short, the Big 12 Big East Challenge benefits the Big East teams more than does the Big 12 teams. So enjoy that. Houston at Xavier this season on December 1st, Friday, December 1st. But so some of the challenges are going to end for the Big 12. But keep in mind, next December will be the debut of the Big 12 in Mexico, featuring Kansas and Houston on the men's side and on the women's side in December 2024. And Big 12 Mexico, I think the teams only have to participate in it once over, a 5, 6, 7 years time span. So Houston won't have to go back in 2 years. So they'll do it next season, and that should be it for them for a while, for hoops. A lot of info. It's the beauty of being in person at media days. You learn things just by talking and listening. It's a wonderful thing being in person, being able to attend media days in person, not Zoom. Reminder, you're watching the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E, courtesy of the BS3 Network on Roku. Yes, I'm happy to say BS3 is on Roku. If you have a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. If not, just go to bs3network.com. The Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E, is available on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Fire TV, and Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. We're talking hoops, talking Big 12. We made some predictions about the Coogs Longhorns game this Saturday. We got one viewer, family member, 35-32 Coogs over the Horns. No one else made that prediction. But he's not backing down. 35-32 Coogs over the Longhorns this Saturday afternoon at TDECU Stadium. Folks chiming in, popping in and out of the conversation. Don't be shy. Stick around, add your 2 cents, make your prediction. And this is correct. The Bearcats are back with Jordan Brand. From what I've been told, it is a big deal. Jordan Brand is a big deal amongst the recruits. Yes, it is. Players have said so. Coaches say so, obviously. But yes, players, I've heard it from players. Oh, yeah, it's a big deal. It's not the only reason, but it helps. It opens the door for some programs. But Tran, I'm talking about Jordan Brand. The Houston Cougars women's team also has Jordan Brand. So What is that saying? What are you saying about that? UH Women's Hoops has the Jordan brand. I spoke with Coogs Women's Hoops players Layla Blair, Cameron Johnson, and Brittany Onyeje on Tuesday at the Big 12 tip-off. And that video was posted on YouTube, Graham, Threads, TikTok, and on X as well. See, I knew you'd say that. Something along these lines right here. They don't deserve to wear it. Well, just saying, CDPG, the kids love it, but it doesn't necessarily always help in recruiting, according to Tran. So, hey, it's out there. But yes, they are a part of the Jordan brand family. The Bearcats are back with the Jordan brand family. And for those who have not seen it, let me see if I can bring up the slide. There is the Big 12 Women's Hoops preseason poll. And Tran's favorite team, favorite head coach is number 12. The Houston Cougars coming in at 12 in that preseason poll. Cougs with 45 points. Longhorns in their last year in Big 12 Women's Hoops predicted to finish first. Longhorns led by point guard Rory Harmon from this area. Head coach Vic Schaefer says his point guard is the best point guard in women's college basketball because of what she does on offense and defense. She picks up the pressure, begins the pressure, and plays defense 94 feet. And most times defends the other team's best perimeter player. And then on offense, sets the table and scores if needs be. I'm not sure you can say that about Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, who's coming back healthy for UConn. Just saying. But and I'm happy to say I received word before this show, within minutes of this show starting. Got an email and was asked to participate in the media poll for Big 12. We're going to put together a Big 12 media poll for men's hoops. And I was asked to vote for that. It's been a good day so far. Had some good news regarding website stuff. Finally getting that taken care of. So, yeah, I'm going to be voting for the media poll. I wonder if they're going to put the results of that out, put our names out there as well. I don't mind. Give me some publicity. Always appreciate the publicity. Good pub is a good thing. But yes, saw BS3 chiming in. Thank you very much for the platform. Good afternoon to you as well. So everybody, watch BS3 TV. In fact, in these final moments, going to show a little segment so you get an idea of really what BS3 TV is about. Let me pull it up. Check it out. Be back in 90 seconds.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Welcome back to the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E. You're watching us on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Fire TV, and Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. If you have a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. If not, just go to bs3network.com. I am KG, Kris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. We're talking hoops. We're talking some football, Coogs, Longhorns, making predictions on the game this Saturday afternoon, 3 p.m. kickoff, sold out crowd. Give me percentage of how much red will be in the crowd. 50%, 60%, 30%, compared to that burnt orange that the Horns are going to be wearing. Will be an even split. Tony, and what say you? What do you think? Will it be more orange or more red in the crowd this Saturday at the stadium? Tran, what do you say about that? Everybody, thank you very much. DPG says 60-40 UH. Tran, what are you saying? 90% Cougs or 90% Longhorns? That burnt orange color, that icky color, that yuck color. Yuck. Oh, more red. Ooh, I don't know about that one right there. I admire and salute your optimism. You are Cougar red to your bones. Salute, salute, salute. Man, okay. Well, he made his prediction. Once again, he says Cougs 35, Longhorns 32. I think the Longhorns will cover the spread, which is 23.5. I'm going to say 45-17 Longhorns. I hope I'm wrong. I would like to be wrong. I just doubt it. Okay. But we shall see. Salute to the Las Vegas Aces for winning their second straight championship, WNBA championship, Wednesday night, winning game 4 by 1 point on the road over the Liberty, 70-69. The Aces have a Houston area West Side High School player, Sydney Colson. Yes, from here, from West Side High School, went to A&M. Champs again. Salute to Sydney. She's big time. I still hope at some point to get her on one of my podcasts. We'll see. Put that out there in the universe. But salute to the Aces. I know their media director. I've known her for years, probably about 20-some years, back to her USA basketball days. So it's a small world, all over the place. Basketball is a small world. So congrats to the Aces, head coach Becky Hammond, and the players. Rockets. What are your thoughts on Rockets and KPJ and what Kaiser Gondrzek said, was quoted as saying? That her injuries, that KPJ did not strangle her, that the neck vertebrae issue was a congenital issue, not caused by him, that their altercation lasted only 10 seconds. She was asked if she would go back and have resume the relationship with KPJ. She said she wasn't sure. I don't know. Some of her answers, I'm not there. So I'm really on outside looking in. But some of her answers really sounded like someone involved in an abusive relationship that just can't get out of it. Doesn't want to get out of it, or doesn't want to face it, or whatever. I don't know what to say about all that. But I hope Kaiser and KPJ get the help they need. Rockets traded KPJ to OKC for 2 players. So I traded KPJ and 2 second round picks to OKC. What are your thoughts on that? Are y'all upset that the NBA allows a player who's involved in domestic abuse, supposedly, but allows that player to still allows teams to acquire assets for that player? OKC waived KPJ, so they just got him for the second round picks. So they collected assets, and Rockets got off his contract. Are y'all okay with that? Some folks are very upset about it. Don't believe that teams should be allowed to accumulate assets for players involved in these kind of issues? What do you think? Let me know. We'll discuss that further probably on Saturday nights on the next edition of Let's Talk Houston Rockets. But Ahmed chiming in, coming off the top rope. I was with the Coogs last week, but Longhorns just a little too much. I think a lot, more than a little, brother. But Horns will cover. We agree on that. We'll see, Tran. You stand alone with your prediction, but you don't mind doing that. You're good at it. You are Coug through and through. So if the Cougs win Saturday, you can come back on this show Thursday and just brag, man. But DPG, thank you as always for your comments. I'm about to wrap it up as well. These final moments of this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E on Fire TV, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and of course on Roku, courtesy of the BS3 Network. Watch the video clips of Coach Kelvin Sampson from Big 12 Media Day, as well as my chats with LJ Cryer, Jamal Shedd, and Juwan Roberts. Sit-down chats. I was literally sitting next to them. We were in the folding chairs, just chilling inside the arena Wednesday, having conversation. Another thing, like I said, the beauty of being able to attend Media Day in person. Talked about a lot today. Talked about Derek Queen and his recruitment for the Cougs, Indiana, Maryland. Cougs, Longhorns, Big 12, football, basketball. That's what we do here on this show, on the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, as well as on Folks Talking Sports, Talking Rockets on LTHR. Tell your friends about this channel. Tell your friends about the Houston Roundball Review. Tell your friends about BS3 TV. And always, for those who do not know, if you're new to the show, if you're new to the platform, new to me, Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. The Houston Roundball Review been around since 1994. Local name, global perspective. Y'all take care. Peace.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today is Thursday, October 19th, 2023. Number 1, President Biden was in Israel for about 7 hours yesterday as the first American president to visit the country while at war. The trip occurred as many in the region are still reeling from an explosion at a hospital in Gaza that killed hundreds Tuesday. President Biden said it appears a Palestinian terrorist group is responsible for the explosion, while Hamas has disputed those claims and said the explosion was due to an Israeli airstrike. Number 2, scientists are setting out to collect genetic material from 500,000 people of African ancestry to create what they believe will be the world's largest database of genomic information from the population. The hope is to build a new reference genome, a template to compare to full sets of DNA from individuals and better understand genetic variants that affect Black people. It could eventually translate into new medicines and diagnostic tests and help reduce health disparities. Number 3, while diet tricks come from observational studies in which researchers noted that normal weight people differ from obese people in certain health habits. The gold standard to test these would be in a randomized controlled trial in which people would be assigned at random to adopt the habit or to a control group that keeps their old habits. When put to this rigorous test, many of the things identified in observational studies have been found to be worthless as weight loss tools. Number 4, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, or the GBI, is investigating the fatal police shooting of 53-year-old Leonard Allen Cure on October 16th. The GBI said a Camden County deputy pulled Cure over as he drove on an interstate highway near the Georgia-Florida border and allegedly became violent when the deputy said he was being arrested. According to the GBI, the deputy shocked Cure with a stun gun when he failed to obey commands, and Cure began assaulting the deputy. After a further struggle, the deputy shot cure. Number 5, in a move to reduce stigma and encourage medical professionals to seek treatment for mental health and substance use disorders, the Iowa Board of Medicine is taking a closer look at its licensing applications for physicians. The board is specifically reviewing quality control questions on its license application, which includes inquiries about medical. The board is specifically reviewing quality control questions on its license application, which includes inquiries about medical conditions that might impair or limit an individual's ability to practice medicine. In addition, an estimated 4 in 10 physicians are afraid to seek help for burnout or depression because of questions asked in applications for medical license or hospital credentials, according to the survey. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Free your mind from what could have been and what may be in the future, and enjoy right now. Okay. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with J. Anthony Brown and Yolanda Starks-White as we discuss today's headlines and, of course, Jay and more. Join us, please. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, the American Heart Association and Black Health Matters. Barbara Scotia College and HBCU in Concord, North Carolina needs our help. The What You Need to Know team is asking supporters, alumni, and friends of Barbara Scotia to help them meet their immediate and pressing needs by donating to help Barbara Scotia rise. Please join the thousands of donors from around the world who are stepping up to save one of the nation's oldest HBCUs. Visit SibylWilkes.com for more information. And check out a celebration of Black filmmakers rooted in the HBCU culture. It's November 10th through the 12th at Howard University's Blackburn Center. I'm Sibyl Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.